This past year, I have earned $1,651.07 in interest alone just by keeping cash in a high yield savings account. We are going to be talking about the best high yield savings accounts that you can take advantage of in this video. Hey, what's up guys? It's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. One of the ways that I really like to utilize cash is by parking it in a high yield savings account. Now, a high yield savings account is different than a traditional savings account because it typically pays out a lot higher interest, hence high yield savings account. Now, a lot of these banks that offer high yield savings accounts typically don't have traditional brick and mortar locations. They don't actually have a physical office or a physical bank branch that you can walk into. And let's be real, when's the last time that you actually physically walked into a bank to do your banking business? Most of us do it online. Most of us have mobile apps with our banks, and banks that have high yield savings accounts are no exception. So because they don't have any overhead expenses with managing a physical office, they're able to pass along more cost savings to its customers in the form of interest. One of the biggest perks about parking your money in a high yield savings account is that you can use this type of account to sit your emergency fund inside of it. So an emergency fund is definitely well maintained inside of a high yield savings account because it's accessible and you're still earning interest on it. If an emergency were to arise where you lost your job, you got really sick, or your car needed drastic repairs, this money would be ready and available to you. I also like using high yield savings accounts to save for short to mid-term goals, such as saving for a second car or a replacement car, a vacation, a wedding, or parking money aside for a down payment on a purchase of your first home. A high yield savings account is a great way to save for things like this, or to go ahead and push money over to a high yield savings account for various sinking funds that you might have. Now, if you don't know what a sinking fund is, I will link to my video up here in the cards where it explains exactly how they work. In addition to that, interest is credited monthly, meaning you don't have to wait to the end of the year to actually get the interest in cash. Much like you would with a certificate of deposit, a CD actually makes you wait until its maturity date, which is typically anywhere from like a 6-month maturity date all the way to like a 5-year maturity date, and you'd have to wait that out. The interest is paid out monthly in most of these high yield savings accounts, which means you get it right away. Now, if you're thinking, yes, but I've been banking with my current bank for a really long time, I really want to show you these images that I found from big banks that are paying literally nothing to keep your money with them in a savings account. Okay, first let's start with a name we probably all know, Chase Bank. Chase Bank also has Chase Savings, and as I was looking up this information, I couldn't believe this. Chase Savings interest rates, all balances, regardless of how much money that you keep inside of the savings, the rate is 0.01%. That's nothing. And also, there was a monthly service fee of $5 or $0, but you have to maintain some certain rules inside of the savings account in order to waive that monthly service fee. Here, and I checked it out, here's how you can do that. A balance at the beginning of each day of $300 or more in this account in order to waive the $5 fee, or $25 or more in total auto save or repeating automatic transfers, or a Chase College checking account linked. It has way too many rules and this is not worth it. I checked Bank of America, and also their required opening deposit was $100. There were also rules about avoiding the monthly maintenance fee, and you had to abide by any of these. Their interest rates were 0.01%. Now, they did tier it. Wow, thank you so much, B of A. They tiered it all the way up to Platinum Honors Tier APY. Wow, Platinum Honors, 0.04%. We're not even at a 0.5% interest rate, and they have the audacity to call it Platinum Honors. That is ridiculous. So then I went to USAA USAA for our military members. USAA is just all over the place. I feel like they treat their service men and women just like dirt, okay? 0.01% for any daily collected balances. In fact, I didn't see even 1% until you had to have over $1 million in your daily collected balance in order to hit 1%. I thought this was extremely ridiculous, and also they have this USAA Performance First. Want a higher interest rate? Open an account with $10,000 or more. Who has $10,000 laying around that they can just willy-nilly set into this Performance First account? And we're not even talking about getting a 1% interest. So instead of keeping your money with big banks who pay you literally nothing for any of their loyalty to stay with them as a customer, why not try a high yield savings account? I have several banks for you to consider. Let's go ahead and jump into the list. First up is Ally Bank. Now, I personally use Ally. I've been using them for 4 or 5 years now, and I absolutely love them. I've had 0 complaints, and it's so easy to open an account with them. First of all, one thing that I really love about Ally Bank is that they have an annual percentage yield of 3% at the time of this recording. Now is the time to jump on these banks that are paying out this type of interest so that you can earn cash through the form of interest and snowball that towards your savings goal. There's 0 monthly maintenance fees, and there's a $0 minimum opening deposit. Another feature that I like about Ally is that they've incorporated buckets, savings buckets, within your savings account. So rather than opening up 5 different savings accounts for different savings goals, you'd have one high yield savings account, and inside you could create buckets that kind of earmark that cash for different purposes. Next up is Capital One, their 360 Performance Savings account. I have a lot of financial friends who utilize Capital One and have great things to say. Right now, they are paying out a 3% interest rate, no fees, and no minimum to open. Pretty much the exact same thing as what Ally is offering, just with a different bank. They also really tout themselves on having a really user-friendly mobile app, and you can easily transfer from your primary bank into Capital One 360. So I find that anytime that I can access my finances mobily, is that a word? Through my mobile phone, I find that it's just so much easier for me to use. Next up is the savings account from CIT Bank. Now, admittedly, I have not worked with CIT Bank before, but they have been a name that I've followed consistently the past couple of years, and I have to say, I love what I see. They have a 3.6% APY on their savings account. So if you open a Savings Connect account with CIT Bank, you're going to earn 3.6% in interest. There's no monthly service fees. They have a mobile app. You can deposit checks with your mobile device. I love that feature. I love being able to do mobile deposits for my paper checks when I get them, because I still get like birthday money or Christmas money through the form of a check, and I love being able to just easily hit the button and do that through my phone. There is a minimum of $100 to open your account with CIT Bank, but I feel like this would be pretty manageable for a lot of us out there to say, okay, I can take $100 from my checking account and move it over to a high yield savings account with CIT Bank, knowing that you're going to earn 3.6% in interest and continue building on that. The next one I found was with Synchrony Bank. Synchrony Bank has a high yield savings account that is currently paying 3.25% in APY interest. There's no minimum deposit, no minimum balance, no monthly fees. This is quick and easy. I've heard Synchrony in the past, so I'm curious if any of you out there have had any experience working with them. I'd love to know in the comments, but I really like what I see. And also, I don't know about you, but when it comes to checking out various financial products specifically online, the way that they have their website put together, I feel like it either adds trust or it takes away from the trust factor. If the website looks like it was made in the early 2000s, like that's a hard pass. It just shows that you're not thinking about the user experience and you're not thinking about this from the customer's side of things. I want to know that you guys are like on top of security, first of all, digital online security, because this is how I'm interacting with your bank. So you can see their savings rates and terms. It doesn't matter how much you have, you're going to be earning 3.25% on any of these deposit amounts. Next up is American First Credit Union, and they are calling this their money market deposit account. Now, typically money market accounts have a higher minimum to open up an account with them, but I didn't see that here. It did say that there was just $1 to open up the money market account. Usually with money market accounts, you need to have like $5,000 to $10,000 to open one. But with American First Credit Union, that's not the case. Another thing that was really cool about this is that they are paying a 4% APY on their money market deposit account. That is insane. So another cool thing here I just realized is that you could, if you had a big fat emergency fund or a down payment of $50,000 that you wanted to put into American First Credit Union, they're showing you that you could earn $2,000 in interest alone without depositing a penny more on that money. Just imagine getting $2,000 for just sitting your money in a bank. That's fantastic. All right, lastly, UFB Direct is paying 3.9% APY on their high rate money market account. So there's no monthly maintenance fees with a $5,000 balance. So you do have to have a higher balance with UFB Direct, but again, if you already had a pretty healthy savings amount set aside, I feel like $5,000 could be doable for a lot of you, and that's in order to avoid the monthly maintenance fee. Otherwise, it's $10 per month. I did think UFB Direct was worth mentioning in this video because the interest rate right now is just so high. I mean, higher than Ally and Capital One by almost a full %. So I think this could be something that a lot of you might pay attention to. Now, their APY is going to show you 3.91%, but the actual rate is 3.83. All right, so that's a look at the current best high yield savings accounts out there. I've done my research with these. I've used Ally exclusively. I'm really curious about opening up an account with Capital One as well, just to test out how they organize and categorize their buckets, because Ally has savings buckets, but so does Capital One 360. So I would love to see what the differences is between the two, or just shoot, go all in with something like American First Credit Union and get the 4% APY. Let me know which bank you're going with in the comments. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Happy savings, you guys. Earn that interest money. I'll catch you in the next one.